40 seconds, whatever. But it's interesting to think we're down war in April of this year, shall we say. I would have put maybe 12 teams ahead of them in the ranking. I could think of 5 or 6 in Ulster would have felt they were ahead of Down, perhaps. 1 or 2 in Connacht, 2 in Munster, and 3 or 4 maybe in Leinster. It's an amazing journey to think they got within 1 point of a team that has literally lived in Croke Park for the last 6 or 7 years. It was a marvellous performance by Down, and it really added to, I thought, a really brilliant final that caps a fantastic championship year.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it was great to watch Down play football because they're natural, innate footballers. Their forwards are forwards. Their vision, their space, they're running off the ball. There wasn't a dirty stroke in the whole game. It was one of the cleanest finals I've ever been at. But one of the things, Cork did dominate midfield. Ambrose Rogers was a huge loss.
And Dan Gordon, of course, had to go full back. So they were missing their
huge loss for them.
First-rate midfield. You know?
So it was a big disappointment from a Down attacking strategy was that you always associate Down football with an ability to get goals and to score goals. And I always thought if Down were going to win, they had to get goals today. And the disappointing thing for them was I don't think they even created a goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, well, it's interesting on that. I mean, Collymore in Dublin, for instance, Kevin made the point they got 12 points from play, so they didn't get many frees and they didn't get goal chances. That all comes back to crediting Cork's defence, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought Down were excellent, particularly up forward though. And as Kevin said, they've come on so much. I was down in Ockram last year when they were knocked out by Wicklow, and the improvement they've made has just been incredible. And
you're sitting next to Ross Carr, I should point out to you.
That's why I'm complimenting them. But their forward play was brilliant. The foot passing, the great balance, and 2-footed players well able to spray the ball around. And it was probably just going in at half-time when they conceded those last 3 scores and only went in 3 points ahead after playing all that good football. It was then you kind of sensed they could be in trouble, and that's the way it panned out in the second half.
All right then. Well, let's go back to Mícheál at the celebration dinner and see who's with him now. Mícheál.
Well, Des, back here at the Burlington Hotel. Everybody, as you can imagine, in great humour. They're enjoying their function here this evening, this Cork function, and in fact enjoying the Sunday game programme as well. Now we have 2 more stars of today's win for you to meet. We have Paul Kerrigan and the man between the posts, Alan Quirk, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, first of all, many congratulations to yourself and the team on your win today. Half-time, as the lads were saying there, you were 3 points down at half-time. What was being said in the dressing room?
To be honest, we were very relaxed. I think the approach to this final has been brilliant. Everyone's been focused but relaxed, and I suppose the main thing we took out of last year was that we probably didn't really adapt to the game that Kerry set out. Like they dictated it, and in fairness, we had great leaders like Anthony Lynch and Sider now took charge, and we were very calm. Like I suppose we knew if we kept tipping away within the last 15-10 minutes, we'd be thereabouts, and lucky enough we were at the end.
As I gather, Paul, you were fairly relaxed all day long. In fact, at the presentation to the president a little bit earlier on, apparently Michael Shields said to Christy Cooney, "I'll see you later on, Christy."
Chris, I think he called him, so he's on that kind of terms with him. So it was kind of a very relaxed attitude going into the game, and we knew there was a job to be done, and it was just, I think it worked for us, to be honest with you. So,
having said that, you did have work to do in the second half. You needed a couple of good scores. You got one of them yourself at a vital stage.
I suppose we got some vital scores, vital times, but in fairness to Down, they kept fighting back. Like anytime we kind of got a score, they'd get one back. But our 2 free takers today were immaculate, like, and our midfielders were brilliant, all 4 of them. Like they kept the supply ball going forward. So I think they were the main 2 things really. Like,
well, Alan, those forwards did get some critical scores, but you heard the panel there on the Sunday game praising the defence as well, and that defence, of course, was something important to you.
Yeah, it was pretty redundant for the match, really. I didn't get a whole lot to do, thank God. The defence has been playing like that all year, really. We had a good bit of help from our 2 midfielders as well today, which probably, we changed tactics slightly and playing maybe slightly more defensively than we had been. But it was great, I suppose, to keep a clean sheet in the All-Ireland final. And normally Down teams are good at creating goal-scoring opportunities, but the lads were able to snuff them out today.
Alan, obviously you know the other side of it in All-Ireland finals. You know the days when things have gone wrong on you. So put into words what it actually means today to get over the line, to get that win.
I suppose, as the old cliche goes, it's going to probably take a couple of weeks for it really to settle in, but just a relief after the final whistle, and just being out on the pitch there with all your best friends and your teammates for those 5 or 6 minutes was just incredible. In terms of the defeats we've had, like, you know, this team has been to the depths of despair at times, really. But the one thing that we haven't done is we've never broke up and everybody stuck together. And I'm just glad for everybody involved that we got a reward.
And I do know, Alan, that before we finish, you do want to say something about the down team.
Yeah, to be fair, they were extremely gracious after the game, and while we were on our lap of honour, McCartan, the down boss, brought all the players down to us, and you know, they exchanged handshakes and best wishes, and it was a very sporting thing to do, and you know, it's a true sign of a good team to take defeat in that manner.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I saw that. Yeah, fair play to them on that one. All right, guys, listen. I know you said there was a bit of beef left down there at the table, I think. We hope they haven't cleared it away. And thanks very much to Alan and to Paul. James, we're going to be back a little bit later on for our man of the match announcement. I hope you can join me for that.
OK, Michael, and that was very decent of the Cork lads. Justifiably, they celebrate their great win, but let's spare a thought for Down, as has just been done, because this was the reaction from their camp after the game.
I suppose with 15 minutes to go, it looked as if Cork were going to pull away, but full credit to our guys. We're probably living on scraps a wee bit around the middle, and we managed to pull it back to one, but unfortunately wasn't enough.
To lose by a point in any game is heartbreaking, but to lose it in an Ireland final is devastating. But you know, first year here, and I suppose we have to look at the positives from the whole year, not just look at today's game.
I suppose it's one of devastation. I suppose, you know, we were confident coming into the match that we could do enough to win the game, and I suppose at half time, you know, we were looking good for it. And I suppose just the second half, they kept taking in big players around the middle there, and we struggled, you know. So it's just the dressing room, but it's just devastated, you know. So that's really it.
Well, we knew, we felt we had a problem around the middle of the park, and even though we felt that the guys within there were working very hard, Cork were obviously getting a lot more clean possession, and so it was a case of nearly them catching it and us trying to take it off them, which isn't a great way to work, but it was what we were having to try and do. Ambrose wasn't an option for us today, so look, our options probably weren't what we would like them to have been, but like, full credit to Cork.
You know, it's hard now to look to next year, but hopefully the lads will all stick around, and you know, we'll build on what we've done this year. And as James said there in the changing rooms, I think we've done this county proud, and we brought it back till you know, maybe the top 5 or 6 teams in the country.
All right, well, Ross Carey, you've already said that team owes you nothing. You know them very well, obviously. Will they be strong enough and resilient enough to bounce back?
I would certainly hope so, Des. You know, that to see them speak like that, you can see how hurt they are, but there's a couple of the players got really re-energised this summer. And Benny's probably our leader on the pitch. He's 29 maybe next year. There's still a world of football in him, and if they can get over the next 2 or 3 months, life goes on, and if they can just refocus in January, February, you know, James it has taken him in his first year probably a wee bit of time to get used to them, and them to him. And if they all hang about, I certainly would be hopeful that if we can get a good league performance, they should be looking at participating in Ulster again next year. But at this minute in time, there's an emptiness and I suppose a wee bit of a depression, but I just can't speak highly enough of them, and James and all his management panel have done a wonderful job.
All right, Conor, you know James very well as well. I mean, he's a fighter, I suspect. He'll have them back out there for next year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't be the size of James and get lumps kicked out of him through Ulster all them years and not have a bit of fight in you, you know. But you'd love them to sort of, you know, take this, learn from it and move on. I mean, it's easy sitting here saying that. I mean, you can only imagine what they're going through. But, you know, James is a tough boy. And as Ross has said, I think if they can hit a good run in the National League now and get really settled in and do well in Ulster, I think that'd be a great stepping stone. And sure, we all live in hope, don't we?
Yeah, okay.
It is.
Yes, Kevin.
Obviously, it's a feeling nobody in Down knows anything about tonight.
That's right.
Because they've never lost one, so yeah, you can just see it coming through in the pictures there. Yeah. How disappointed they are. I suppose they thought, you know, they would bring it back again, but to face the reality now.
Yeah, but it's interesting the other side of it. I mean, Larry Tompkins, Cork have been knocking on the door, they've suffered and they've been generous in acknowledging that for Down. But do you think this Cork team can step up a gear now?
I think they can. I think if you look at any sport or sports people, whether they play individual sport or team sport, I think the biggest thing is to get the breakthrough. I think we were the same, myself and Tony there. We lost 87, 88 after replay, bounced back in 89 and won, and then looking enough to win the next one as well in 1990. I think this will really make the team. I think they'll grow in confidence. They have a lot of wonderful footballers. The panel is very, very strong. And, you know, you've seen today, what I loved about the game today was a traditional game. Like, you had the feeling there of Aidan Walsh was superb. Like, and the foot pass and the kick pass, and some wonderful scores there from frees and out the field. It was great to see the ball being put on the ground and kicked over the bar. I think it's a fantastic art, and I think you've seen a lot of traditional football there today, and it was very, very good, very entertaining.
All right. And Tony, you picked up on one thing there when Alan Quirke was being interviewed.
Yeah, I just felt that the pitch not being invaded today allowed the players a certain time to celebrate and to console themselves, really. Yeah. And the down guys showed great grace in what they did, a certain aristocratical feel about what they did. You know, you always feel about the Kerry footballers, they'll always do the right thing, win or lose. Same with down there. It's the first time they lost in Croke Park, and they showed huge grace in what they did. But it allowed Cork to celebrate, and even for the players, for the kids up in the stand looking down, it's new now that the pitch isn't crowded with people. It's a new thing to the J, and I think we should celebrate that.
Okay. You'll celebrate anything tonight. Still to come on the show, our Man of the Match award, the Sunday Game Football Team of the Year, and a very special guest joining us in studio on a big day for him today. Stay with us. And you're very welcome back to the Sunday Game. Still to come, our Man of the Match and Team of the Year. But first, let's reflect on a very exciting minor final today that saw Cork take on Tyrone. Commentary comes from Mícheál Ó Muircheartaigh and Coleman Goggins.
Inis Thomas Canavan, Stach good glow to get John McCullough. John McCullough, Erelini Tree Weather Dia. John McCullough, Yabana Kaide, Wilt to count. Work hard, I count Gloater falling at John McCullough. Saw free to the hero in and son. Stachan Sugadi, Ryan Devlin, Tyrone and O'Neill. Oh, and I'm saying a chance of one and after art call. I'm saying, again, Harry O'Connell and Panlord Poitke, Augustin Lasser Savannah finish, O'Him Corkway. Yannick Tohill, Elm Warard. 18 that's a show on the block on shot to score. Went to the hole and again Kevin Hennessy. Conan Brogan, Martlish, Lennick Tohill, Shinana Yarach the father, Mícheál Ó Muircheartaigh, Shinana Feint. Mícheál Ó Cork is Luke Connolly. Luke got in on say, Count Warard and Modina. Is that how you am on the card now? Get fast this thing, get Brian Hurley. Douglas Cole and Brian Hurley. On Lasser Savannah. Cork big, of which other is Schneerash. Kevin Hennessy, Einzigen Leon Tawn, shaken down. Kevin Hennessy, Lennick Tohill, Ishel, Fanataloon, Damien Cahill, Count Warard, Stadion the Carnoy, Reached the Nordelotson, Anna Hansen, Saga General, Dochtetje an Cathaneer a ha diant agus na Corcaigh. Dachal Ashley, after the gloated sa again. Harry O'Connell, chance again Harry O'Connell. Oh, no, boy! Ronan O'Neill, agus bega benean free to Canoona. Crossed in the Poitke and son, a Hamiha O'Dara Donnelly. And that Oak Shade again.